how to stay calm, centered, and sane during this political chaos. The first thing is to realize is that this chaos and fear is created in order to put you in a chaotic, fearful, limbic state of mind, where you are looking for anyone that can just calm it all down and say, we're gonna get rid of the perceived threat. We're gonna get rid of them all, right? That's that, and then you're not necessarily even rational. It's just somebody saying order will be coming out of his chaos. And that perspective is the perspective of somebody who is not able to see the long-term scenario playing out, right? It is usually someone that is just so tired of the instability that they just say, just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do, okay? Just get rid of the enemy and tell me what to do. And I see that futility a lot, and I don't like it. Because that futility is saying, I just give up. I give up my freedom. I don't care. I'm just glad. I just want to hear that I'm a good person, and I want to hear that I'm safe. And that's what most people want to live their life with. They don't want to necessarily dig into the underlying truth. In fact, when you tell them an element of the truth, sometimes they just recoil, and it's like, what makes me feel like a good person, and what makes me feel safe? And that's what they want. And it makes sense, because when you're in a fear state, that's really all you can handle. You're in a very fight or flight survival mode. You don't, any extra emotional weight is so heavy and you're just toppled over, right? And so we have to have empathy. That is completely an understandable human point of view to kind of just, please just tell me what to do, you know? But we need to break out of that level of passivity and futility, because we currently have a very opportunist totalitarianism that is edging very close. They've already locked down the country for a year, and they've normalized that is something that can happen. They've normalized wearing a muzzle, a mask, a submissive, very subservient symbol. I know that we can talk all day about other aspects, but essentially the visual is extremely slave subservient. Anyone in the BDSM community is like, are we all subs? Looks like it. So we have that. That's normalized. Lockdowns are normalized. No isolation is normalized. No human contact. And now it's normalized that if we just slap the label of this group is a demonized group and dehumanized group already, and they are inciting violence, we've got that label of, well, we are going to shut them down on all platforms. And then everyone's like, yay, you know, yay. They delight in it, and there's jokes, and there's memes, and I got a meme from a guy that, on my DMs, and he sent me a meme about it. And I have never revealed myself, really, because I haven't revealed my opinion of how the left and the right are both scary to me. But I just said to him, like I explained to him, well, yeah, ha ha ha, that, you know, T got his account deleted. But actually there was accounts such as Walkaway, which is a movement of people who are leftist, who left the left, leaving video testimonials of why they left the left. And it's run by a gay man, and it's defined primarily by the fact that it is heavy with the people who are in the LGBTQ community. And so we've got trans, gay, and minority groups. There's a lot of those people who are told would never be on the right, who are actually people who are on the left, left the left, and left a video testimonial for the Walkaway group, okay? That group was obliterated with the censorship. They have never advocated for violence. They only were shining a light on how the left has become a corrupt, authoritarian, bigoted group. And their videos are a huge red pill to a lot of people because of the fact that they completely topple the narrative of that the right is just a bunch of white cis males, right? And so that is a group that was censored. And so we don't hear about them in the narrative that's perpetrated that says, oh, well, these are the people that are inciting violence, they're racist, they're bigots. Again, it's a false label and it's a false dichotomy setup, which is, this is the demonized, dehumanized group. And so, anyway, I've talked so much that I can't even remember what I was saying because I just got lost in that example. But what I'm saying is that was an example of a group that got canceled. Another person was a psychologist who was a leftist who had a viral article about how she went to a Trump rally and that changed her perception of what she was told Trump supporters were, right? And so she was censored. And so actually, it's not people who are violent extremists that are being censored. It's actually a lot of people who were former leftists that are communicating to both the left and right about why the left is getting very extreme and radical. And so that is actually the truth. That's not something that the truth is, we could force that, we don't have that forced or spoon-fed to us because it goes against the spoon-fed vitamins that we're supposed to be taking. But that's actually the truth. And the truth, that just is, and it can't be forced. And so we have this cloaking that is extremely deceptive. And no one knows about it, and anyone that probably talks about it will then continually be censored. So we're in a scary state. And how are we going to stay centered in this? Because when you try to talk to people about these things, I mean, as going back to my example, like when I revealed the walkaway element to the guy who DM'd me, he did not respond, and I had a little people-pleasing message right after that was like, oh, sorry, I'm sorry for saying my opinion. I know that was a big long paragraph. You know, that stupid people-pleasing, like disclaiming, qualifying, kind of, oh, how dare I exist, how dare I speak, kind of statement. That's what he liked. So he basically, in my opinion, it was kind of like an F you. It was like, I don't care. Anyway, so people are just kind of taking this in a light. And and another argument that's brought up, you might see, is the other private companies, they can do what they want. Well, and I really like this example by Scott Adams, which is if someone turns off your electricity, well, you can just rub a balloon on your head. Oh, why don't you just do that? Why don't you do that? Or he had, maybe I'm not capturing that exactly, but it's, these are the public squares currently, and they're and yeah, everyone might have gone to Parler, but now even Apple and the big tech is still trying to control Parler now. They don't want any, and they're acting, and of course it looks like absolutely such a righteous, morally upright position to be like, well, we're trying to stop these inciting violence. Well, they're not. That's what they're using as the perfect cloak to then have tyranny. And when we're in this chaos where we don't know what's true and what's not, we can't discern information. We're just kind of like, well, they're evil, I'll trust what they tell me. And we've really got to realize that people are emotionally manipulative. People don't have our best interests in mind. They have power in mind, power and control. And all of this, if 2020 didn't wake you up, and 2021 is now a new glaring alarm, but then still people are just eating up the spoon-fed information, it's really alarming because we need to be able to discern that, this is an abusive relationship. This is a big tech and government and also big pharma. They have their own agenda, and you're worth more when you're sick or controlled or a slave or dead. You're worth the most dead. So you've got to wise up to the fact that this, you've got to equate it to that narcissist, psychotic boyfriend who's trying to control all the people in your life who you see when you leave the house, and all for your safety and protection, trying to implement controlling strategies, because we're really getting into a scary level of totalitarianism. And people kind of want that when they're in that fear state, they want to be told what to do, and they want to be told how to think. And so how do you get out of that? You've got to pay attention to what you're consuming, and I mean that on a physical level and an emotional level. So if you are consuming coffee and alcohol, you're even more numbed out. You're just prone to kind of going along with abuser. Abuser comes in, they tell you this is how to live, and this is these are who your enemies are. I'm not your enemy. I'm the one creating this divide with two people I've kidnapped, and each telling them that the other person is the villain, when it's actually the person who's perpetrating these stories that you two are both enemies. So you're in some weird Stockholm Syndrome competition where you're trying to get the kidnapper, the abuser, to be to have mercy and clemency. Well, you gotta, if you teamed up with the other person that was kidnapped, you both overpower her, you know. So that's why they want to keep you in that. So that's what you consume, food, and you're controlled. You consume also the content you consume. So the CNN-addled brain and the Fox-addled brain, they're both two sides of the same coin that are being told who the enemy is. Oh, if you consume content by spiritual and just higher consciousness people who are really aiming to just make the world wake up and realize not only our own power and not giving our power and thinking we have to have someone tell us how we should act and who's the enemy, but instead actually realizing that there is no enemy except the person that is denying your freedom. Who is the person telling you what you can't do? That's the enemy. Is it the person that you're told is this boogeyman, almost specter of this collective group that's evil? Well, that's their distraction, so that you think that that's evil, so they can keep you in that fear. And keep dehumanizing that group, so that then you're not able to think clearly to see that that is the enemy, right? This kind of triangulation. And anyway, but we're going to get through this chaos together.